Yeah. Yeah. So, so last night I went to the Pickering Casino, which I know you're like, what? But yes, Pickering has this brand new casino that they've opened up. Anyways, they have like a concert venue there. And so myself, my wife, and 3 friends went and saw I Mother Earth and the
Oh,
Tea Party.
the Tea Party. I
The
know
Tea
the name.
Party.
I can't place a song.
You stay silent, knowing. Come on.
No. 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 Maybe if it was that guy from the intro of Lost Boys.
With the saxophone.
With the saxophone, no shirt, all oiled up.
I knew that was your favorite character.
The number one scene. Oh my goodness, folks, welcome to the Sidekick Show. It is October 29th, last weekend before Halloween, so hopefully you guys got to dress up and have some fun. You're joining us for our Sunday night Sidekick Show. We're going to talk about Lost Boys towards the end of the episode, and in the beginning, we're going to talk about what's going down at Heroes World, and we're going to bring you some entertainment news. Some of it's probably going to be sad, and hopefully the rest is going to be funny, weird, whatever. Rob's doing his work right now. That's why you see him looking off in the distance.
All right.
He's not just trying to look cool. Yeah. Scott's asking if Nickelback was opening.
No.
Nickelback's got some jams. If you went to see Nickelback in a live concert, I think you would rock out.
I saw Nickelback live at Edgefest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good times.
I saw Nickelback at Edgefest.
That's all you're gonna say. You're gonna leave it at that. I saw them.
That's all I'm saying.
Linkin
Do you
Park.
think Nickelback became? I mean, listen, Nickelback's one of those bands where it's like nobody admits to owning or ever owned or liking any of the music. I will say this: Nickelback they're talented. They do have catchy tunes, and they've made a shit ton of cash. Like, it's one of those things where it's like everybody like, I hate Nickelback, but they have a CD or they've downloaded their music, right? So it's like. But you wouldn't be able to sustain the type of career that they have if nobody bought their music.
Nobody. Yeah. When some people are like, "Yo, Drake, that guy sucks" or whatever, I'm like, there's a reason why he's got more number one or same number ones as Michael Jackson. There's reasons why everyone considers it. It's not like everyone just doesn't listen to it. So, but he is not as hated as Nickelback. I feel like Nickelback is actually legit. People told me if you listen to their other songs, and you know what? Their song's on full blast now. I feel like it would rock the house. Yeah. Look at this. Remember? Oh man, you guys remember when we used to do the So What I Missed? We had the photograph intro. Look at this photograph. But yeah.
But you think Nickelback became more popular after Chad Kroeger did the song for Spider-Man?
Yeah. I feel like that hero song is more it's the other songs that people hate on, right? From that first Smash album. I don't know.
I guess but people listen to that shit, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I own a copy of that album in my collection somewhere. It's like it's got a car on it and
for sure you do. You probably own like 3 copies of it.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Lewis is mentioning Linkin Park. Oh man, Linkin Park. Rob, do you remember when Linkin Park and Jay-Z did that collab?
Yeah, I have that.
And it was the biggest thing on the planet, I think. I recently saw that on my feed. There's a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff of Jay-Z working with Linkin Park, and it's crazy cool just to see the process. But yeah, that's a great. I think everyone owns a copy of that. If you own a copy of I think it's called Collision Course, right? Yeah. Jay-Z Linkin Park Collision Course came in a cardboard sleeve. Didn't come in a plastic CD jewel case. That was one of the early CDs that was like only in a cardboard slip.
I think so. I saw Linkin Park in 2003 or 4 at, I think it's the ACC. Anyways, I saw him in a box. I think Our Lady Peace opened for them. And my wife and I were there, and they brought up a kid. I think the song was Faint. It was off their second album, Meteora, I think. Anyways, they're like, does anybody know how to play this riff? And then, everybody's like, I'm like, yeah. This kid was like saying, he was a teen. I for sure know how to play it. They're like, all right. They brought him up on stage, right? So you're in front of the ACC. What do you got, John? 30,000 people there, whatever it is, right?
It's a hell of a lot of people. ACC is a big ass venue.
And they're like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. And like, you're not going to embarrass us. He goes, no. I'm like, all right. And they did the keyboard thing with the intro like that. And all of a sudden, this kid does the riff like that, and everybody was blown away. He ended up playing the entire song with the band. Could you imagine that?
Yeah. I feel like they'll set up though. Like he probably was known to do it, and they were like, "Oh, here's the gag. You're gonna show up, and we're gonna like invite you." No way. You pick a random person from like must have been the first couple rows, right? And he I
don't think so, man. I don't think so.
No, all right.
No. I have trust in the I believe it.
Yeah, all right. I don't know. I feel like sometimes you ever see those other like the pop stars and stuff. They're like, oh, they'll bring on someone on stage to sing the song for them, and then they're amazing. It's usually set up beforehand. They've either contacted, like Pink or whoever, and like, oh, I love your song, sing, and then they're like, we're gonna put you in the front row, and then I'm gonna say, hey, you're gonna come and sing the song. Is this real? Is Taylor Swift collab with Bryan Adams? Oh, I don't know. I've seen Bryan Adams in concert twice. Rob, have you ever seen Bryan Adams, Canadian Treasure?
No, he actually opened the Pickering Casino.
Get out! Yeah, he did. Like he just unlocked the door to let everybody in, or he played.
No, he played. He played. Yeah, he played. Yeah,
yeah. Like recently though, because he's up there, right?
Yeah, no, it was like they just opened. It was the venue just opened this past summer, or like it was April or May or something. Like it was this year.
Oh man, no, I saw like I've seen him twice. I saw him once. I don't remember. I want to say it's the Sky Dome or ACC or one of those big giant venues where you can't see stuff. Can't see shite. And then I saw him at Massey Hall, which is an amazing venue because you're like really up there.
Yeah.
And he's such a pro. Like at one point, his mic or like his the little battery pack or whatever fell off.
Yeah.
And dropped on stage, and then kind of like he went to hit this thing on his guitar, and then he kicked his foot out and just kicked the thing off into the guys who were supposed to, I guess, the techs or whatever. And you wouldn't even notice if you didn't see this thing drop out. I was like, what a pro.
But he stopped performing for a long time because he was focusing on his photography career.
Get out!
I will not.
Get out. We need more albums. Sarah says a guy got up and danced at the Lady Gaga concert. And were you embarrassed when Gord got up there and started dancing
out with his really tight jeans and his like plaid shirt that it was opened up so you could see his chest hair coming out?
Oh my goodness.
He's like, let's do the Shallows. And she's like, no, piece of shit, you're just gonna dance. He goes, let's do the Shallows.
Yeah. Michelle mentions Bruce Springsteen and Courtney Cox, the Dancing in the Dark video.
Yeah.
You think that was set up? That was set up, right?
No, that was because she was part of an extras, but they liked her. They put her in the front and they said, you're gonna be pulled up.
Yeah. What a moment though. That's a cool moment. If you guys haven't seen that, you young cats, probably wondering who the hell Bruce Springsteen is. Is it the E Street Band or whatever he rolls with? Yeah. Hardcore. I never could get into his music though. But anyways, Rob, should we get moving on? Thank you everybody for joining us. I see a lot of people in the chat. Thank you folks. Hopefully we'll have some fun tonight. And we will be talking about Lost Boys eventually. So if you didn't see it, that's okay. We're gonna maybe try and convince you to see it or try to convince against you seeing it. But yeah, some news coming up. Yeah, Steve, we hear you. It's coming up. But Rob, what should we start with?
Well, I guess we might as well start with that.
Yeah, we start with that. All right. Okay. So again, tonight we are going to be watching, or we're talking about the hell's the name of this damn movie? The Lost Boys.
Lost Boys, man.
But we have some sad news first. Rob, did you get any rundown for this, or should we just talk off the cuff about this?
No, I think we just listen. I went to a concert last night, John. I don't know if I told you. I saw 2 bands, and I was drinking, and I had my son's hockey game today. So it's been a bit of a rough day.
Yeah.
We were actually at the concert. We were in the middle of I Mother Earth tune of some sort, and my wife's like, Matthew Perry died, and I was like, such a weird thing to say when you're drunk. And she's like, seriously? I'm like, what? She goes, Matthew Perry died. I'm like, huh? Yeah, and then she was showing me, it was quite the shock to the system, right?
It was
Canadian Matthew Perry, stepson of Keith Morrison. He of Dateline. That he went and found the killer. Yeah, it was a shock to the system, man. 54 years old, supposedly drowned. They're suggesting it may have been a heart attack.
Yeah.
And
So
while
like
he
no
was in
drugs
it.
related. We know he's struggled with his demons of substance
Yeah,
abuse and all that kind of stuff. I was really hoping for a comeback, or everyone was hoping for the kind of like a Friends uh episode. So they did the reunion. It was a sweet reunion. They got to chit chat on a sofa and have some fun. But I feel like everyone was kind of deep down hoping that they maybe get together and do like an actual episode or something. Only 54, like still I think still had a lot more that he could kind of bring us. But Rob, what do you think about like this? I've got on the screen his most definitive character, Chandler
yeah.
Bing from Friends. I feel like this particular character, like the way he portrayed it, the way it was written, and became a show, that this really, if you grew up in the era that Friends was the monster success it was, this probably shaped your sense of comedy.
Sarcasm.
Sarcasm and joking around with your buddies. Like, so I bet you almost everyone could name someone in their crew that basically is like a Chandler, like like there's a Rob guy. Could he be any more Chandler? But
Well,
like just like this sense of humor, I think like just hit and kind of molded us into liking this type of thing, and all these zingers you throw out with your friends. Like it's like it's really sad. But he does have a hell of a body of work to kind of go back to, right, Rob? I know Friends, his biggest credit, and my absolute favorite movie of his, and almost possibly one of my top, if not the top favorite rom-com of all time for me, is Fools Rush In with him and Salma Hayek.
seriously.
With this is the rom-com go-to formula. This is the cultures clash. Just got married. Everyone's gonna learn how the other person lives and stuff like that. He was really good in this. I own this on Laserdisc somewhere. I'll have to dig it up. But Rob, do you have any like kind of favorites of his? Like, this is the Scrubs episode he appeared in where his dad played his dad in the episode. I don't know if you guys remember that. But anything kind of ring home with you from Matthew Perry other
Well,
than
yeah.
Friends?
I mean, yeah. So for me, I'm going to go a little bit of I mean, he was a perennial, child actor, right? He starred in so many 80s and movies, TV series especially. But
Yeah.
for me,
Silver Spoons.
yeah, I think he did do an episode of Silver Spoons.
Yeah, he's got a lot of credits of like one-offs. Yeah.
Yeah. But he was just like a guest actor on all those episodes. But for me, I always I think obviously it's Friends, but I really appreciated his work. He starred in a few episodes of The West Wing. And so how much of a West Wing
I knew that was going to be your jam. Yeah.
It did. And then just a few years after that, it was after Friends had ended. I want to say like 2 years after Friends ended or whatever. Aaron Sorkin, who was the creator of The West Wing, then did a show called Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
And this was kind of like a dramatization of like Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
Right.
It's kind of like what the behind the scenes of Saturday Night Live, the pressure of putting on that funny show every once a week or whatever it was. And weekly, I think it was a really good show. I think, Rob.
So do I. I really liked it, and they only did the one season. Rob Lowe's in this as well in the show. I really liked it, and I was really surprised that it wasn't renewed for. And actually, you know what? After I thought about this show again this morning, and I was like, you know what? I took a look. It's like $20 on iTunes. That's probably something I would probably just grab and watch because it is so smartly written. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a big Aaron Sorkin fan. We know like Newsroom, the West Wing, and so that. But this is
The Wire. Imagine if Aaron Sorkin wrote The Wire.
No, this is one of these shows though that I think just unfortunately flew under the radar and didn't get the attention it deserved because I think it would have been one of those. It would have been looked upon fondly, probably like the Newsroom is for news, right? So.
Yeah. It was. I think. Me and my brother used to watch it all the time. We really liked it. It was very cleverly written. If you guys want to scoop that up, like Rob said, on iTunes, it's a great piece of work of his. Unfortunately, doesn't. I don't think it has a proper ending. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know.
But it was a really good kind of a look into that, and him being a little bit more like he's still funny in it, but he is also quite serious in that show, I believe. But yeah, a lot of people, Michelle remembers Studio 60. A couple of people mentioning the whole 9 yards, and then I think there was a sequel to that. That was a fun one.
Yeah, the whole 10 yards or something, or
10
9.5 yards or something.
Yeah. 17 again, I think, is where the Zac Efron one, where he turns young or something like that. But yeah, some great pieces of work that you can watch of his, and like I said,
well, he just released a biography, right? His was autobiography was released in 2022, and he spoke a lot about his demons, because like we all saw him during the Friends reunion that was released over COVID, and he did not look well, right?
Well, even if you go back and watch those Friends episodes now, you can tell there's some points where he does look kind of rough. So I think a lot of people were just hoping that sorry, we got a junk thing in the comments. Anyways, it's always distracting. But I think you can kind of see that he was struggling with some things. And I haven't checked out his book. Rob, you think you're gonna maybe pop it on and check it out at some point?
I don't think so. I don't think I haven't. I got one of these things where it's like I don't know. I don't know. If I really wanted to have read it, I probably would have read it before his passing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, no, I probably won't buy it. But my understanding is it is very inspirational and it is very good for individuals who are struggling with substance abuse. And I saw somebody had posted a screenshot or something of a interview he gave a couple of years ago, in which he said, and I'm going to paraphrase John, but he said something to the effect of like, I know people, when I end up dying, people are going to be like, oh, friends, but they're not going to think about all the work I've done to try to help, people with addiction issues. And he had opened up a like a sober house for men. And he had done some work in that community and whatnot. And he said, they're always going to want to talk about Friends as being my greatest achievement, but it never was. It's the work I've done trying to help get people be sober and get right after they've fallen. That's my greatest achievement. And I think that those are the things, and, and I read that today. And of course, everything you're seeing, whether it's the quick hits on CP24 or on Twitter or anything else, everybody's obviously talking about Friends, but I think we should acknowledge the struggles that you acknowledge, John, the struggles that he went through. And then we should always acknowledge, the journey he went through, how he came out on top of it, and dedicated, time, energy, finances, whatever, to help other individuals that were also struggling. And, you can be, famous for, all those years and all the money he made for Friends, but I think probably his greatest personal achievement would have been what he did to help other individuals in that situation. So that would probably be his best legacy. We all think about the showbiz side of things, but
I'm sure, like, even helping one person who's struggling, like that, what an achievement that would be, just to inspire someone. But all right, let's move on from the sad news. I see some people in the comments already like
all right, for those who are listening on iTunes, Spotify after the fact, if you're not joining us live Sunday nights at 8:00, I don't know why, but our good friend Scott said, make note, kids, have Rob read your memoir before you die, otherwise you are literally dead to him.
All right, so make sure to send them a copy.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll move on to some lighter topic. Rest in peace, Matthew Perry. Condolences, family, friends, and fans. Definitely lost a good one. So let's keep it rolling. Rob, do you want to go into the news, or you want me to show you some cool stuff arriving at the shop?
Well, you know what? I hate to kind of, beat a dead horse, John, but there's not a lot of news because we're still in the SAG after strike.
Man.
However,
man.
A couple of things came out this week that I thought we could touch on.
Go for it.
Okay, one, we talked about this a couple of years ago. You gotta give me a second, man. My dog is scratching at the door. She wants to come in.
Yeah. This is the point of the podcast where Rob lets his dog in.
Come in.
And convinces his dog like it's some type of human being.
There, you can see
you coming in, you coming out. What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? Stop wasting my time.
I told him to install a doggy door, but he refuses to cut a hole.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. Okay. So, because I wouldn't want like raccoons getting into my house. Okay, so
getting into the office, getting into the house, okay, fine. But then that extra step where they go and invade your office, that's so personal. Rob would be in the police report with this. And then I think he got it. I know he got into my office, guys. I put a door in there for my dog. It was open.
John!
I don't know what he's done. I'm gonna go yell at John later because I didn't think this was gonna happen. I thought little man cave office was safe.
But alas, it wasn't
in your house. All right, cool. Go for it.
Okay. So we talked about this a couple of years ago, John, which is kind of hard to believe. However, we got some word this week through Deadline that the long rumored Highlander remake, reboot, or whatever, starring Henry Cavill and directed by John Wick's Chad Stahelski, is moving forward. They're currently looking for financiers through the American Film, the AFM, whatever's going on.
I thought they were looking for real life Highlanders.
They're looking for Highlanders who are Scottish. Do you
want this to be very accurate?
We just need people who don't mind having their being decapitated.
Yeah.
And so that's actually really good news, right? And Chad Stahelski has said it's kind of like John Wick, but with swords.
Yeah.
Which has me
they do what they do with John Wick,
to be honest. I would really hate to think that Connor McLeod of the Clan McLeod will be using his kilt, that bulletproof kilt, to stop the bullets. But I'm pretty excited about this. I mean, I really enjoy Highlander. I think, if I remember correctly, you liked it, but we watched it, I believe, like 3 years ago for the show.
It's dated, and I think the main issue we pointed out that it's dated is that some of the sword fights look good, but it's not quite on the level of the action that we're seeing now, right? Like Arnold, you could clearly tell that he trained with a sword. I don't know if that was as evident in a movie like Highlander, because they were probably focused more on acting and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So if they do, or Chad does what he did with John Wick with guns, if he can do it with bladed weapons, oh man, we're on a new era of action here, Rob. Knife is a dangerous thing. I don't know if you've ever trained with fighting with knives. There's two distances you want to be. You want to be either up close or you want to be in the next country. Right. You see the knife come out, you want to run and get as much distance as possible. You don't want to deal with that.
Okay.
Shout out to Justified.
So then you've got to recast the Sean Connery role as Ramirez, who is a Scottish individual playing a Spaniard. Who would you cast as Ramirez for Henry Cavill's Connor McLeod?
I don't know. I don't know enough people. You got someone in mind?
Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, sure. He was in. What was the last thing I saw him in? I think it was on Uncharted. I think, which is unfortunate because that was not a good one. That was not a great one. But he is fantastic in Puss in Boots. Yes, I have seen Puss in Boots.
And then what about Kurgan? As played by Brown.
Yeah, you need a gigantic guy, right?
I would think you do. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you get someone like an Alan Richardson or The Rock?
Could you imagine Black Adam versus Superman and Highlander?
Yeah. Well, it's got to be someone that can go toe to toe with Henry Cavill. So it definitely does have to be someone huge, because as we saw in Mission Impossible, it is very hard to fill Henry Cavill's follow up Henry Cavill. So you're going to need someone that is able to kind of go against him.
Jason Momoa.
He has used several bladed weapons. Remember that Stallone movie when he had the two axes? I don't remember what it was called because it was so bad I wiped it from my mind.
I don't know.
But that was the promo that he had two axes and he was going to fight Stallone or something like that. But
well, that's the Highlander. So hopefully we'll have some more information in the next number of months, John, as to when we can expect that. But speaking of Stallone, this is the other piece of news that actually really, really upset me more than
Rambo's coming back.
Oh, listen, I would be more than happy even though I hated the last Rambo, I would be more than happy than the news that we got that, John, your top 5, one of your top 5 movies of 2021, Samaritan on Amazon Prime, Stallone Samaritan.
Flip that over. Top 5 worst movies I've ever seen. Sorry, Samaritan is on there.
Is getting a sequel. Samaritan 2 at the works. I will not. Yep, Stallone wants to be back for his superhero sequel, Samaritan 2. They've hired Braji F. Shute to pen the script. He also wrote the first movie. Based on his last name, I would say both movies are Shute. Um,
Dude, this is crazy. I don't know. Did it somehow make large streaming numbers that we didn't know about? If it's a prequel, I think if it didn't involve Stallone, it would have a chance,
I don't.
right?
He
If
also
you're
wrote
doing,
Escape Room.
yeah, if you're doing, oh, Escape Room was another bad one. That was another, like, I think we talked about that last week. Folks, if you
Yeah.
didn't watch our Arnold Schwarzenegger episode last week, definitely pop that on. That was a lot of fun. But Escape Room, Stallone's Schwarzenegger is probably going to be one of my biggest disappointments of all time. Seeing our two icons come together. Was he
Yeah,
in?
so
He
Lewis
was
is
in
like,
it,
I
right?
haven't bothered watching that Stallone film. So Lewis is infamous for not watching anything. He's kind of like you. But I would say that Lewis, much like Neo in the Matrix, dodged a barrage of
He
bullets
did
not watching this one.
he did the lean back.
I just remember being so angry at, I think it was your suggestion that we watch it, and Stu and I had to watch it. And
I think it was
I'm
Stu's suggestion. I forgot this thing came out, I think.
Oh, was it Stu's suggestion? Well, I don't care. I was mad at both of you then because I was so angry I had to sit there and watch that shit.
Yeah. I don't know if they're done with Stallone's character in Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like no.
I don't know. I'm sure he'll pop up in another DC movie. I mean, he was King Shark, right? So
Yeah. All right. Anyways, so
that's it, man.
That's it for new movies that we're not gonna watch. Coverage is the Stallone Samaritan sequel, prequel, whatever it is, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
we're not
I mean,
gonna watch it.
although, so I guess we could say there was some changes. Mission Impossible. We didn't talk about this last week, did we? Mission Impossible 8 has been delayed now till 2025. And actually we'll end on this one. So it was delayed until 2025. I guess the pandemic, there's a lot of shifting of movies. We talked about Deadpool 3, I think, has been shifted to sometime in 2024. Mission Impossible 8, 2025 now. But most importantly for me in that one, John, is that they're no longer going to be referring to it as Dead Reckoning Part 2. They're now looking for a new title. And in our group chat that we had, I theorized that, or suggested maybe that the reason for the change of name was because Dead Reckoning 1 did not do very well at the box office comparative to expectations or to Top Gun Maverick the year prior. So,
yeah.
You know, do you think that's my theory? Do you think that's the reason why they're changing Dead Reckoning Part 2 to some other name?
I think if it came out and it was called Dead Reckoning 2, would be, even if Dead Reckoning 1 did a wicked job, it's stupid. It's stupid to name something a something 2. You know what I mean? So yeah, you have to change the name to something else. Like, and then once the 2 comes out, do you go rename Dead Reckoning 1 and add the little 1 at the end? You know what I mean? Like, or do you start adding part 1 and part 2? Does it say on that movie poster Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning and then a 1 or part 1? I don't think it does.
Yeah.
But I think it's foolish to start calling things like I don't know if Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was called Part 1 or Book 1 or something like that. I feel like it's never a good idea. It's never a good idea because you alienate those people who didn't see it, didn't enjoy it, or heard that it was not good, and then you're like, oh, I'm not going to see the Part 2 now. You know what I mean? So just change it.
I'm looking at the movie poster right now, and it says Dead Reckoning Part 1 on it.
Part 1. Okay, so yeah, so they're going to have to strike that off the record now. I think the DVD releases out this week or something, right?
Yeah, Tuesday.
So they're gonna cross it off and rename it. They're in trouble now. I don't know what they're gonna do. Yes, shout outs to Fast X. I don't know if it's gonna be called Fast X2 or it's called Fast XI, or I don't know what the hell these movies are called anymore. But yeah, I think you 100% have to get rid of it. You're right, and the fact that the movie didn't do well probably doesn't help. Although, you know, sticking to your guns, unless they're radically. You think they're retooling the script right now to kind of make it more its own movie?
They could. Well, they filmed a fair amount of it, right? So they could be.
Because Dead Reckoning 1 or Dead Reckoning Part 1, I guess, is we're supposed to call it, with no Part 2 coming out. Kind of, it doesn't really end on a cliffhanger like some of the other movies we've seen this year. It kind of ends, but you know, it's not really kind of like a super cliffhanger like Fast X or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sure, whatever. Do what you got to do. Just make it good.
Are you picking it up on Tuesday? Are you grabbing the 4K?
I barely buy anything now. I watch it once. I watch it once in theaters, and that's pretty much it for me now.
Okay.
So no, I won't. unfortunately, because I do have all the other ones.
That's weird.
I know it just happened, Rob. I used to tell myself, "Oh, I can't wait to own this on Blu-ray." I buy it on Blu-ray, and then I would never even open the case, or open the wrap. So I was like, I'm just gonna stop now.
Lewis said he thinks it's on Paramount Plus, but I don't think it. I know that it's on.
I think you can rent it digitally.
On
I think
iTunes,
you can digitally. Yeah,
and
but we're talking the physical copy.
A physical copy, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, physical copy. We're talking that's coming out. But anyways,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
If you guys liked Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, there's not going to be a Part 2.
No. So that's it. That's the
title wise. All right. Thanks, Mr. Rob, for the lean news, and we're gonna have to deal with that for a little while. We're gonna have to start making up our own news. So yeah. The only thing I had on my gossip list was that whole Henry Cavill Highlander thing. So let's rock on. Let me show you guys a little bit of what's going down at the store, and then we'll talk about Lost Boys before we wrap it up tonight. Thank you everybody for joining us on your Sunday night. And I see a lot of stuff going on in the chat. So thanks for joining us as always. Rob, can I show you some cool stuff that's coming in the next week or so?
Yeah, buddy.
I know that you're officially a Hot Toys collector now, even though your first Hot Toys hasn't even arrived yet. But we got some Hot Toys coming.
I can't believe I have to wait another year.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Yo, the Pattinson Batman isn't even out yet, Rob. I don't know what was the year that the Batman came out.
2022.
2020. Okay, so it's not that long, but that movie was delayed, and we still haven't seen it yet. So yeah, Scott, don't worry. I got something for you, Scott. It's coming up after. Let's talk about some Hot Toys. What's up, Mike? Mike shouts at Hot Toys too. Yeah, this is this. If you guys aren't familiar with these are dolls for grown ass people that are hella expensive but hella cool. So Rob, we got your favorite RoboCop movie getting a Hot Toys treatment.
Look at that.
Do you remember this particular version of RoboCop?
Oh, RoboCop 3. It doesn't even start Peter Weller.
3 is
it's
getting
not
a
Peter
Hot
Weller.
Toy.
It's some other fool.
Yeah, is it not Peter Weller's?
No, he only did 1 and 2.
No, 1 and 2.
This is the one that he flies, right? They give him the wings, a glider.
Yes, sir. This one note on his back is a rocket pack,
and it was PG-13 as well, John.
Was it PG-13? Because a lot of people died in this movie.
No, it was PG-13, man. Because they were also tied it into the stupid, what do you call it? The cartoon.
Oh, the cartoon. The cartoon was horrible. You know what I kind of liked, Rob? Remember the TV show? I kind of like that.
Not the cartoon.
Not the cartoon, the live action TV show, and it had this cheesy 80s
that was
intro music. Something like The Heart of the Darkness, and it had these two people singing, white folks singing. It was a good song. I remember it.
RoboCop was played by Robert John Burke. You ever heard of him, John? No. Because he's not.
No. Did he just? Was that his rookie year, and then he retired immediately after RoboCop 3?
No, he's done other thing, but his list of credits are like there's barely anything. He goes oh.
Anyways, how cool is this Hot Toys though? Despite how questionable that movie is, which I think is good for a rewatch because it's got robot ninjas.
I'm out.
Robot ninjas. This actually looks really cool with the jetpack and the weird. He had like a weird attachment. I remember they made a big deal of this because I guess it was going to be in all the toys and everything like that. He takes his hand off and he has this weird attachment that's like some type of multi-gun.
Yeah,
and it would launch rockets. So in the picture, I don't know if it's big enough that you can see. There's actually a rocket shooting out with a little cloud effect behind it. So Hot Toys is really like leveling up their like accessory game. But you could remove the backpack and all the other doodads, and you would have yourself a nice RoboCop. So I will have this.
It does look like a pretty cool. Like I would agree with you. Like that looks like a really cool RoboCop.
It looks pretty cool. I wouldn't know it wasn't Peter Weller unless you pointed it out to me in this toy format. But all you're getting to see is the bottom of his jaw. It's like impossible. Yeah, a lot of people are shouting out. They remember that TV show. Lewis says it was filmed in Toronto. Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like they were under a lot of the highways downtown and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why the Gardener's a wreck.
Because of the filming of RoboCop.
They blew it to shit.
The show they had to not let him murder people, so he used to come up with all kinds of other creative stuff. I actually quite liked it. And if you guys don't know, they did a bunch of follow-up. I don't know if it was part of the same continuity, but they did a bunch of movies, Rob. I don't know if you remember. they did a bunch of movies, TV movies called like Prime Directives or something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
And at one point, a second RoboCop shows up in a blue tinted armor called Cable or something like that. So I kind of want to try and find those, but I'm sure if I watch them, they're going to be super terrible. But it looks like a lot of people remember that. Maybe it was Canadian content. Yeah. Lewis here. Lewis got my Prime Directive miniseries, 4 episodes. Yeah. If I recall, it was actually quite terrible, but
well, and they were syndicated TV shows. Like they weren't belonging to any network. So that was the thing. You could watch them on like usually with your local Buffalo station would have it.
Right? Yeah. They were like, I think they're like 1 hour things. And I remember they did a full out remake of the movie in a TV format for that TV show. Anyways,
you ever watched the remake movie with Joel?
Yeah. I think Michelle or someone mentioned it. The remake. What did you think of the remake, folks? The RoboCop remake with my guy Joel Kinnaman, who I actually quite like.
Also filmed in Toronto, I think.
Yeah, why is RoboCop? RoboCop should get a statue. Can we get a statue?
Don't you remember they tried to did
they get it in Detroit?
Yeah, and I think I kept winning all the most votes, and I think eventually like the city just shut it down, or I don't. Yeah. Oh my god, dude! I honestly, your kid scared the shit out of me for a quick second.
Yeah,
John, something's wrong behind you.
In the spirit of Halloween,
get out, John! Get out!
Daughter popping up in the back.
John, you have a pet door, dog door built in. Something.
Yeah, I installed the doggy door, and it allows my daughter to crawl through. Pretty soon, if Rob gets it, you'll see a raccoon behind him, and you'll be like, "Is that Rocket?" But yeah, oh man, I feel like we're gonna have to do a deep dive on RoboCop at some point. A lot of people remember these old movies and stuff. But yeah, RoboCop 1 is still the best one, right, Rob?
Yeah, of course.
Would you entertain RoboCop 2 is actually watchable or unwatchable?
It's kind of like watching Die Hard 2, right? Yeah. Like it's very similar, and you watch it because you like the first one.
Yeah,
but it's not quite as good. But you're like, it's fun to watch, but it doesn't hold my attention the same way the first one did. That's how I kind of feel about those movies.
Oh man, Mike shuts out. Paul had a part in the new RoboCop, but didn't make the cut. I want that director's cut now. But yeah, the new movie, I think a couple more dedicated action scenes and maybe giving it a full out R rating would have helped it. It could have potentially done something. I didn't mind the designs and stuff like that. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, Scott shouts out the naked yoga scene at the beginning of Die Hard 2. Yeah, that guy was a hard man.
Yeah,
that bad guy doing
William Atherton.
Yeah, it was pretty badass. But anyways, okay, one more toy I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to get into some other stuff. Rob, are you going to rewatch Hawkeye this Christmas? Because if you are, we got the brand new Kate Bishop Hot Toys figure coming out.
You know what, John? It might be something I throw on in the background while I'm working, because I did rewatch it last year. I quite enjoyed it. So it's definitely like a background, background. My TV is like right next to me.
Like in Skype.
my TV is like right next to me in the office, so I probably would put it on while. Yeah,
I think you can 100% put this show on in the background. It was a fun show. What do you think of this likeness to Haley Steinfeld?
I think it's close enough to Haley Stanfield, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like it looks like her sister that's about a year younger than her.
Sometimes the angles and maybe sometimes the photos just aren't quite right, but these Hot Toy sculpts do look quite amazing when you see them in person. The eyes usually have like a little bit of gloss on them too, so it looks like they're actual like real eyes.
I like the bandage on her chin. That's pretty
funny. Yeah, it was pretty cool that during this TV show they allowed their stars to get injured, and basically they would have band-aids and stuff on their face and cuts and scrapes and stuff like that. Usually you don't want to mark up your main actors and actresses' faces. But anyways, shout out to Kate Bishop. Hot Toys coming soon. If you're interested in any of these, let me know. I'll hook you up. And if you do have the Heroes World membership, you can get 10% off these guys. And Rob, I just want to talk to you a little bit about what's going down in comics. My favorite thing right now is the Energon universe. So I don't know if you heard at some point, IDW lost the rights to Transformers, G.I. Joe, and a bunch of stuff. And it now is with our good friends over at Image Skybound, our good buddy Arun, who maybe we should invite to come on one day, talk about it. Very capable hands. Robert Kirkman is at the helm. There's a bunch of stuff. So I just want to tell you a little bit about it so you guys know what's going on. They debuted a book called Void Rivals, And in that book, they had this character Jetfire show up to surprise introduce this to the universe. Like no one knew what happened to the rights Transformers. I was very cool. I was very fortunate that Image / Skybound, Kirkman, and all his team, Maroon, and those guys have decided to do this really cool thing where they let the retailers inside. So Rob, I got to sit in on a meeting where they revealed this to us retailers, and we were told to keep it a secret. And it's really cool because everyone kept it a secret and no one knew until it dropped.
That's
so
awesome.
It was really cool. Yeah, it was really cool to be a part of that. No one has ever done this, I don't think. I've only been in the industry maybe 20 years, but I've never had a company tell me, hey, we're going to give you a call and we're going to spoiler some stuff for you before you even have to order the book. So you know how many to order, you know what to anticipate, you know how to talk to people about it. But this is really cool. So they're doing a Transformers book. They got Transformers #1 is out right now. I just sold my last copy over the weekend. I've got more coming. And #2 is coming out November 8th. You got Starscream on the cover here fighting some guy in a jet. Who's in the jet? I don't know. We'll see.
Is he screaming?
Yeah, he's screaming. He's Star screaming. And then we have the second print for #1 coming out November 1st, which is going to be pretty awesome. They got some brand new covers for it. So if you guys are into collecting covers, they've done a really good job. The art is done by Daniel Warren Johnson, who did a Wonder Woman series called, I want to say Dead Reckoning, but it's not called Dead Reckoning. It's called something else where the whole world is destroyed and there's just Wonder Woman left. And then he also did Murder Falcon, which is a really fun book, and another book called Do a Power Bomb. And he's got some really good kinetic art. If you're a wrestling fan, you're especially going to like what he does with the Transformers and stuff like that. They're moving, they're shaking. There's a lot of action going on. And then they've also got the G.I. Joe license. So G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Rob. This is on issue 301, written by Larry Hama. And they brought him back to continue writing the series.
Crazy.
So this is one of the longest runs, in comic history. So they're bringing it back. The art on it looks fantastic. That's out November 15th. And then I'll quickly go over. It's going to have a couple variant covers. This is a 1-in-10 cover with Snake Eyes and Serpentor. And they're going to do it for the first 5 issues. So if you're interested in those, let me know. They're going to be a little bit more pricey, but it's going to feature 1 G.I. Joe character and 1 Cobra character. So it's going to be really cool. And then they have a Duke miniseries coming out December 27th. So at the beginning, I mentioned Energon Universe, Rob. These guys are all going to be part of the same universe, aside from that Real American Hero that Larry Hama's continuing. So Duke, Transformers, Void Rivals, and there's also a new, this is the Duke's team. You're going to question why Baroness is on there, but it's going to be revealed in the comic. And then Cobra Commander on January 17th, which they're actually going to give more of a horror slant to. So it's going to be really kind of creepy.
It's written by Josh Williamson. Wow.
Yeah. So it's going to be really cool. This is the team here. I don't know if you recognize that guy in the back, Rob Mercer.
Yeah, that's Zar. It was one of the twins, Zartan and...
No. I don't know if you remember the G.I. Joe movie. At one point, one of the characters, Flint, gets sent away to train with Sergeant Slaughter and a bunch of just mercenaries. He's one of those characters.
Or whatever they were. Or...
Yeah. So this guy's Mercer, and this is his first time coming back. He was in the movie. He was the ex-Cobra Viper. So we're going to see a little bit more exploration into that. So I think that's really cool. I'm really excited for it, and it's really cool that they allowed us to be a part of this.
That's awesome.
So it's really cool. I just got off a call this past week where they told me what's going to go down in Transformers #2 and what's up and coming for the Duke and the Cobra Commander, and I think it's going to be a ton of fun. So if you guys are into any of these 80s properties or just into good comics, if you've ever read Walking Dead, Invincible, Robert Kirkman, he's got a hell of a good record. He's at the helm of this thing, and lots of great people working on this books. So if you want, let me know. I'll add it to your pull list. I see a lot of people going crazy in the comments. Sorry, I just wanted to deliver all that before we got too long in the tooth for that. But thanks, Rob, for listening there.
No, I think it's great. Listen, I will say, I know that some people kind of like to dunk on Kirkman and stuff like that, but you can't deny it's not even marketing. It's just more, it's like street smarts to say, hey, listen, the retailers are the ones that are going to push the product.
Yep.
Right. And I think he did this with not the phone call, but he did something special with what was that book he released, John? Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Didn't he do something special with retailers before?
He might have done something special, but I probably wasn't on board at that point. Luckily, we've got our good friend Arun over there now who makes sure I'm set up with all these things. So it's cool to be a part of that. But yeah, he had done some stuff. Some people Walking Dead maybe didn't like towards the end, but it was revolutionary. It's still a revolutionary book. Like no one did it like him. No one did a zombie ongoing book like that and exploded into a zillion and one TV shows.
No, I think he's super smart. I like his output of stuff, right? He's a creator, right? He's a creator who knows the business as well, right? And he understands
No, during the call, he said a lot of things that us retailers were thinking. How do you crack the market with new books? Are you going to go throw out a whole bunch of crossovers and do them every year to snake that money or whatever? He said he's against a lot of that stuff, which is really cool. It's really cool to hear. So kudos to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, man.
Man. I'll hook you up. First hit's free.
Oh yeah, Lou should talk about being a pusher. Lewis is the guy that's got me buying more 4K Blu-ray discs than I know what to do with.
Upgrading all your equipment and your cables and all that stuff to make sure it's all done.
Every time I message Lewis or he messages me about some movie, I feel like I have Ice-T in the background going, "He's your pusher." Hey John, before we jump into our new movie, I will let you know that one of your seminal 90s bands, Milli Vanilli, has a new documentary on Paramount Plus, and I've watched like close to half of it, and I was like, this is totally John's jam.
Blame it on the rain.
That's right, man.
Girl, you know it's true. Milli Vanilli, crazy times for you young cats that don't know. Everybody lip syncs now, but they're the first ones that got caught doing it.
Well, you'll be surprised about some other revelations about who was doing it before. So, at any rate, I'm only halfway through. It's decent. It's worth your 90 minutes. Paramount Plus. Okay, John. Hey, listen, thanks to everybody who are in the comments for joining us tonight live. If you were listening to us after the fact, as you know, Heroes World Sidekick Show. I guess we're just a Sidekick Show, John. We are live every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern.
I said Monday, and we might have just let it fly. But Sunday,
8 p.m. On the YouTubes. I believe we're on Facebook and Twitch still. Definitely join us. We have a lot of fun in the comments. We have a great group of people who are here each week, so we thank you so much for giving us your time. Old format of the show is we used to kind of watch something every week, and then it got to be so hard for John and I to squeeze these movies in on a weekly basis, so we decided to do once a month. And listen, hey, we are October. John, today is the 29th of October, which is absolutely bananas to believe. We are 2 days away from All Hallows Eve, and so in years past we've always done like a whole month full of horror movies, and we decided last year we didn't. We did I don't know what we did, but
we did Brightburn. We did
but they weren't like scary movies. People were like, we wanted more horror movies, and they're upset with us. But in the last couple of years, this movie, John, that we're talking about tonight has been mentioned numerous times. And we thought, and I know it's one of my favorite like Halloween movies.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, or you could watch it any time of the year. I mean, I grew up watching this movie. And so we thought we're gonna kick off our new rendition of our of Halloween with The Lost Boys. And hopefully everybody had a chance to take a look at it and review it. And we're going to talk about it tonight. Now, I was starting to do my rundown. This is the thing. We used to do this show on Mondays, so I would get everything prepped on the Monday afternoon. And Sundays now are just so busy, I completely forgot. So I'm going to be jumping back and forth on some stuff, right, John? But I do have a rundown. Listen, it's been a while since we've done this. So The Lost Boys, John, released July 31st, 1987, was written by two people we don't really know who they are, Janice Fisher and James Jeremias, which I feel bad for that guy, two first names. Also, Jeffrey Boehm, who is probably best known for his work with the Dead Zone movie, Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade, Inner Space, and Lethal Weapon 2 and 3. Directed by acclaimed film director Joel Schumacher. Now, I say that like usually acclaimed filmmaker and Joel Schumacher don't usually go hand in hand because people automatically think about his work on Batman and Robin. But you have to remember, right before this movie, it was St. Elmo's Fire, which he did gangbusters on, right? Joel Schumacher is quite the accomplished film director. It just, unfortunately, Batman and Robin and Batman Forever kind of besmirched it. But at any rate,
some people love those movies.
Yeah, I don't know why. Okay, this movie was produced, John. I completely forgot about this until I was watching it in the credits. It was produced by Lethal Weapon 2 and 3 director Richard Donner.
I saw the name. Like, yo, that's Rob's boy.
And I was like, what? Like, and actually, there are parts of this movie that you can almost, there are homages to some of Donner's work. Like the zoom in to at the beginning was very reminiscent of like the first Lethal Weapon movie. Anyways, this one stars Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patric, who both John fought over Julia Roberts. Oh, you don't remember that? Julia Roberts was engaged to Kiefer Sutherland, and then she fucked off and with Jason Patric, and it was like
a Runaway Bride,
right? Yes, and then she ditched him and went off and married Lyle Lovett. Okay, Jamie Kurtz and the Coreys, John. The Coreys were staples of the '80s. Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. I didn't realize, but this was their first movie together, and then together they went off and made a bunch of movies in the '80s. Were forever known as the Coreys. John, as you know, the film's title is a reference to the characters featured in J.M. Barrie's Peter Pan stories, who, much like vampires, John, never grow old. On a very modest budget, John, what would you peg this budget at? 1987-ish.
1987?
Yeah.
I would have thought this would have been a big budget movie. It looked like there's a lot of money in it.
$8.5 million budget, John.
Okay.
$8.5 million, but it did bring in what was considered quite decent, $32.5 million at the box office. It was a critical and what they consider to be a commercial success as well. Currently, Rotten Tomatoes has an approval rating, John, of 77% fresh, an audience score though of 85%. The Lost Boys has been credited with helping shift depictions of vampire in popular culture, bringing forth the youthful sex appeal of vampires that you would end up seeing in Buffy the Vampire Slayer and even years later, the Twilight books. I don't really have anything. What?
Lots of leather.
Lots of leather. Right.
Yeah.
This movie is, it's had some comic books, John. It was Lost Boys Reign of the Frogs, which was kind of like a sequel. They also made some 2 directed DVD sequels as well to it. The music, the original motion score was a huge hit when that came out in 1987 as well. And John, I don't really have anything else to tell you aside from the fact that I just damn well love this movie. So John.
Yeah, no,
it's really holds up for me. It's the Lost Boys. What did you think, bud?
Yeah. So yeah, we're talking 1987, folks. So like sometimes movies of this vintage don't quite make it back onto your watch list or back into your collection. You know, when you have to upgrade everything, Rob, you're upgrading everything up to 4K now. Sometimes these older movies don't make the cut, right? You watch them and you're just like, man, it doesn't quite fit. I don't think I ever saw this. I think I was mixing it up with some other movie.
Seriously?
So this was my first time watching it, and I was actually surprised that with the transfer on it, the visual quality of the picture and stuff looks amazing.
Yeah. So did you watch it on 4K then?
No, I didn't on 4K, but I watched it on like a Blu-ray transfer, I guess.
Yeah.
It looked good. It looked really clean. It looked really good. Like you said, I don't know what the depiction of vampires was before this. If we had guys in leather jackets with dangly chain earrings going on, or was it just the slick back Ivantu, like, you know, the Count Chocula formula for a vampire?
It was the Count from Sesame Street. One.
All right. You're right, Michelle. We shouldn't accuse the Lost Boys of bringing us Twilight. I think that's a whole different animal. But as a different depiction of vampires, that's pretty like crazy, revolutionary. And to have them basically be these biker dudes and stuff like that, I really got vibes of like it was almost like a Fast and the Furious.
Of course it was. Oh
yeah. No, but it's almost like you're watching this guy go undercover and he's trying to figure out who the lead vampire is, but you're like, oh no, it's not Keith or Sutherland. It's got to be someone else, and they're trying to pin it on someone else. But surprisingly, I think this movie holds up pretty good. It's not like amazing, but if you have that nostalgia component, I think this definitely makes it to the upgrade stage of your collection. And like you said, you don't just have to watch it at Halloween. I think this would have made a great summer movie as well, because they're you know, like a little bit of a Karate Kid vibe too, where they're kind of on the beaches, riding the motorbikes on the sand and having crazy shirtless dude in the concert with the saxophone.
Right. Yeah, I know. Right. I know.
Thought he was the lead vampire. I was like,
you're waiting for him to come back.
This is the point when they find out it's not this guy, that it's gonna loop around and it's gonna be this crazy, super muscular guy covered in baby oil, looking like the bad guy from Cyborg, playing the saxophone and singing that. What, is this a known song? Like, or Rob, was this a lot of this music just made up? I didn't recognize any of the music in this movie.
Well, the main theme is known. "Cry Little Sister" was a huge hit. Yeah. The song that the guy of the saxophone was doing, no. However, it's
I was like, is this an actual guy? Like,
it was really catchy though. Like, I really like it.
Of course, it was catchy for you. You were mesmerized by sax. It was just bizarre how much screen time they gave this guy. I don't know, maybe he knew the producer or something. Like, I'm gonna launch my music career, and I'll be the shirtless guy with the ponytail. Like, he looked straight out of what was that TV show with Lorenzo Lamas, Sweating Bullets or something like that?
Yeah,
straight out of that. I'm like, whoa, dude.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to see if there was anything else of who this. It might have been.
I feel like he knew someone on production, but yeah, Mike, I think this is streaming on Crave if you have the Stars extension.
Yeah,
is it Stars extension? I don't know.
I think
whatever.
So. Okay, so you know what? So
you have nostalgia attached to this movie.
I do, but it's been a while. I used to watch this like every Halloween. It was like one of those things I would watch like every October, and then it's been like a number of years since I saw it. I did buy the 4K disc for it. It looks absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, my disc is defective. I'm gonna have to get a new copy. But
oh man,
whatever. But it does, like, I couldn't believe how crisp and clear the transfer is. And I forgot like how there's a lot of fun in this movie as well. Like, Corey Haim is so funny when he finds out his brother is a vampire. I can't believe you're a blood-sucking vampire. When do I tell mom?
He's the younger brother, right?
Yeah,
the younger brother. He's actually really good. Like, I don't know how old he was when he did this movie. There's one point where I think he's in the comic store, and the two guys are like, "Our number's on the back. Call us." And then he's like, "Please don't something call us." And then the way he delivers, like, he's like, or hope you don't call us. And he's like, "I'll hope." And then just the way he spaced out the lines, like, "Oh, I hope I won't call you," or something weird like that. I forgot what it was. I should have grabbed the line. But the way he delivered it was so good. And then it goes from that scene to like he's doing like a Home Alone in the bathtub. And like,
that's right. Yeah.
like, what is this? What's going on?
What about the outfit he wore when he walked into the comic book store?
Oh, his outfits were fire. Like, it was like Miami Vice looking, like with the Hawaiian shirts and stuff. I was like, it was pretty fire. Like, whoever was doing his outfits and stuff, he looked good.
That's the 80s, man. Could you imagine that would be in your closet and you walk out and you got like jeans and some boots on, this big long t-shirt sweater thing? Like, that was the look. You know what? This film really and I know people are gonna be like, what? But I got Jaws vibes, the Jaws the movie.
Yeah. Because it's like something is attacking this town.
Right. And you never know what it is.
Yeah. I thought they were going to keep that mystery going a little longer. And then they kind of just like, they had a party and these guys just start ripping people apart. And you're just like, whoa.
Yeah. But it was kind of cool, right? Like, you coming, the people in the car and stuff like that. Like, the one loser, his girlfriend's reading some like Mad Magazine knockoff, and he's like trying to get like fresh her. Like, knock it off. And all of a sudden, what's that noise? Like, and he's like, what noise? No, listen, preceding that, it was like, and she's like, what's that noise? Everybody knows what are you talking about? You don't hear that? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Just let me see some boobies. And all of a sudden, the top of the car gets ripped off of that. And I was just like, it evoked a lot of like Jaws for me, just in terms of they didn't want to show you the threat. It was the theater of the mind. Yeah. It's going to be about vampires, but we're not going to show you what they look like and what's happening, right? That was pretty cool.
Scott shouts out the vintage comic shop, which was funny. They had comics like hanging from these ropes. I would never be able to get away with that, but it was fun to see all those old comics on those racks. Fraser said it didn't.
No books, no boards, no bags. I was like, oh my God.
No, some stores run without boards. I can understand that, especially you want some of the ads on the back of those comics. You remember like the Lego car and all that stuff. You looking at them. So visually, I would 100% do that. But yeah, Fraser said it doesn't hold up in his opinion. I kind of hear what you're saying, Fraser. Like some of some of the storylines you thought was going to be a little bit more like they kind of like lead you up. Oh, these guys are attacking this town, and you think there's going to be a little more mystery to it, but at some point in the movie, they're just like, oh yeah, it's who you thought it was the whole time.
Well,
so I don't know if that's what you're saying.
They make them out to be the antagonist, like right off the bat. Kiefer Sutherland and Alex Winter, John, in a pretty much non-speaking role. He was he's Bill S. Preston, right?
Yeah, you hear him for a second. I was like, I know that guy. Yeah. And the mom, did you recognize where the mom
Diane
was?
Wiest. Yeah, Diane Wiest. She's been in tons of movies. Like actually, recently she was in the mayor of
Mayor of Kingstown. She played the mom. I was like, where do I know this lady? Because her voice is so distinctive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think it's a funny movie. It does seem a little it does have that 80s flair, if that's what Fraser is talking about. Like it just doesn't, but I think it does, like, just the fun. It works really well if you take it into its time period, right?
But I think it holds up well now. Like, I think that's why, like, watching it, like, I know that nostalgia, is plays a part in it, but like, I look at it and I say, okay, it may not hold up to like today's story standards on how storytelling is done.
Yeah.
But it's not scary. It's fun, right? It's not a scary movie.
It gets a little gruesome, which could be interpreted as scary, especially towards the end, I'm sure a lot of that stuff was not the norm back then. That probably would have been pretty crazy. Like who do you think got it the worst out of all the guys who got out of Kiefer Sutherland's crew? They got murked. Most of them just got impaled on something, but there was one guy who falls in a bathtub of holy water. And then the whole house turns into a blood fountain for some reason. And they made sure to give us some exposition before. It's like every vampire dies in a different way. You never know what you're going to get. And you're like, I wonder if this line is going to lead to something going on.
Well, and it kind of like very Goonies-ish almost, right? When they had like the lost in the cave, right? And they got to go searching through the cave. Like, sorry, I wouldn't be going searching through the cave for vampires. I'd be like, Frog Brothers, you guys are on your own. I'm out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, man. I honestly, this movie is fun. This is definitely a yearly rewatch for me. It's been a few years since I've watched it, but I've got it again now. I'm going to keep watching it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think that this was Kiefer Sutherland's second movie.
Oh,
like, big budget movie.
He had very little to do in this movie, though. He kind of just was. It was more his look.
Well, but okay, so he did Stand By Me before this. I mean, he did some stuff up here in Canada, but his first big budget movie was Stand By Me, and then it was this one. But okay, so he has like the least amount of lines, but aren't you just completely transfixed like watching him?
Yeah, whenever he pops up on the screen, I was gonna try and get a blonde wig and a dangly earring, but I couldn't do it in time. But his look is absolutely amazing when he's like on the back of the bike and he's like kind of making his little smile, and the way he's taunting the Michael character, who this young Jason Patric, right? He's very. Did he not give you like a Tom Welling vibe, like Tom Welling early Smallville? I feel like it looked exactly like his same face, just didn't have the crazy hair. All right, well, maybe someone else will see it.
Or nobody will at all.
Nobody, maybe.
Overall, John, I'm very. I really enjoy this movie. I think it's a lot of fun. I wonder if today's teens would watch this and enjoy it, if they think it'd be shit. But I
think they would watch it and then get these kind of costumes. This would be a fun, like, retro-y looking costume that they could wear. We'd be the Lost Boys and kind of follow it. Like, movies like this remind me of, like The Warriors, and stuff like that, where it's kind of like, like Michelle says here, the storytelling standards. Today's storytelling, there's a lot of movies today that are just trash. So you can't fault this too much. I'm just saying, a movie of this, like, you might want a little bit more in the writing department from this type of theming nowadays. Right. But I still think it's a fun watch, especially the whole beginning half where they're kind of trying to figure stuff out, and you're seeing the town and them running around in the comic shop and just around town and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Or how about when they have the guy over, the mom's new boy Max, for dinner, And they're trying, and like, oh, I have fresh Parmesan. He goes, oh, thanks. And it's like all garlic. Like, spill the water on him, and then the lights go out. And he's got that extended little mirror, and he's like, ah, like he sees his own.
Yeah. It was like they were improving. Yeah, it was. I think it's cool. I think it's worth your time to check out.
I think
maybe you don't want to own it.
Well, I do. If this movie was made nowadays, I think though it would be full of special effects, green screen bullshit. And you would see a lot of them flying around and everything else of that. I think what makes this movie, I don't know, magical or whatever, or earnest or whatever, is the fact that you don't see all that shit, right? It's
no, I find, for these low budget movies, it seems like they earn it more. So they do some theater of the mind, as we would call it, right? You know, like they don't show expressly what's going on in certain scenes. Like when they're hanging off the bridge and fall into the fog, you're like, sure, you could make that look a lot better nowadays, but that was perfectly fine. Like, you know, I don't know. But yeah, all right, Lost Boys. I hear you, Rob. I see why, if you have that extra nostalgia component, you would watch this. I think, hey, Rob, would you rather watch this now, Halloween time, or is it? I feel like I would rather watch this in the summer. I feel like this would be a cool summer movie.
Yeah, I could watch it in summertime as well.
Because they're newly moved into the town. They're going around and learning everything. It feels very summery to me.
The grandfather is hilarious, man.
Yeah. He's a somebody, right?
He's a what?
Is he a somebody? Like a known
somebody, John.
Yeah, but like a known for something else.
So. Yeah, he was. Yeah, Bernard Hughes.
I instantly recognize one of the Corys because I think he does the voices for some of the Ninja Turtles. You know,
he did the
Raphael,
movies.
Donatello, or something like that. Yeah. I was like, I know that voice.
Yeah. Yeah, that was Corey Feldman. Is that person you're referring to?
Yeah.
Overall, yeah. So I will definitely. Would you rewatch this though, John? Is this something that you say, you know what, I'm going to put this in my catalog and I'll rewatch it like next summer or whatever?
It wouldn't be a year. It wouldn't be a yearly rewatch. I would maybe dust it off just to see the visuals, especially the first half. I think is actually especially kind of fun. Really fun to see these guys. The actors and actresses in their younger days sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I would own this. I don't know if I would rush to see it. It was a fun experience to finally see it, because you always see the pictures, you see the posters and all that stuff. Is this on your? Does this bump the Batman for your Halloween viewing?
No, it's in my house. Listen, I've watched a lot of worse movies this month so far, so this is
yeah.
But John, I have good news to report. Following the show tonight.
What's up?
I am going to be watching one of our favorite movies of all time, The Crow, with my son. He has never watched it, and I am making him watch it tonight. So we are watching it.
Yeah, the Crow is where you can kind of see the criticism of like a little bit. You might want a little bit more from story from Lost Boys. The Crow, it really pays in spades. The story that they weaved and some of the background, the characters. But for a fun one night movie, Lost Boys really works.
Yep, for sure.
The Crow, I think The Crow would definitely be on your yearly rewatch schedule. And another movie with a lower budget. Unfortunate that such tragedy is tied to it. Possibly because of that low budget, but the movies with these lower budgets seem to really kind of add visually. Frasier. Yeah, so Frasier is not a fan. 100 times better. But The Crow is a really good movie.
No, it is a school night, Scott, but their school starts a little bit later in the morning. So yeah. And the movie's only like 90 minutes anyways. So it doesn't matter.
And when you're young, you don't need sleep.
Yeah,
you don't need it.
I know.
You don't need
when
it.
We're old like this, we do. But
what do you need that for in your younger days?
Well, I'm glad that you got a chance to watch it, John. It sounds like you liked it.
I definitely enjoyed watching it. I would recommend it for someone to check out at least once.
Yeah,
just to see in the culture where these brooding gothy vampires originated from, maybe.
Yeah, I liked it. It holds up for me, and I think it belongs up there in one of those definitive 80s kind of movies.
I think it would. Yeah, if we were starting to break down a list of 80s movies, I think it would be in contention just because of the quality of what it delivered. Yeah,
the simplicity and the fun of it. So
exactly. Yeah. So you had a straightforward movie, A to B. This line is what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and it kind of sticks to it. Some of these movies just go all over the place and get crazy. And become completely unwatchable. You know.
Yeah. All right. Well, that ends that, John. Thanks everybody who watched it. Those who enjoyed it, thank you. Those who didn't, thank you for watching it at any rate. Sorry, Fraser, it didn't hold up, but whatever. So that's it, I guess, for us for tonight, John. I wish you and your kids have a fantastic time on Tuesday night, being scared by ghosts and goblins, and all those out there who are either with kids trick-or-treating or who will have kids coming in toilet papering their house and throwing eggs at it. Hopefully it's not too much of a cleanup for you.
No matter how you participate in Halloween, we hope you have a fantastic time. If it's at home watching movies with the lights off to make sure that no one knows you're home, so you don't have to hand out handy. Hey man, you know those houses that go crazy Halloween decorations each year and stuff like that? God bless those people.
Yeah.
You guys got some fun stuff going on. So really cool. Toilet paper for all. Yeah. Let's go.
But buddy, it was good. It was fun. Next week we just got some kind of like news and views and asking kind of AMAs for everybody if they want to ask us anything. We're going to talk about kicking off in November, which is going to be crazy to speak about, John. So thanks, Lewis. And so we are we're good to go for next week. We'll see you everybody then. And John,
love you, buddy. Peace out. Till next week. Dangly earrings, Rob. We want the dangly earrings. Buddy. In the mullet.
You're one of us now, Michael.
One of us. Is that what you're one of us?
Michael. Yeah.
Michael. Let go.
Let go, Michael.
Oh man, we should have had a Steve effect here. All right. Anyways, thanks a lot, folks. Thank you, Mr. Rob, as always. It's always a blast. Peace out, dude. Peace out, everybody.